thank you for being here with us today. It's a quite exciting occasion. I'm honored to be here with Councilman Dennis O'Brien, Dr. Arthur Evans, and Emilio Pacheco, who, of course, is the Associate Director of Vision for Equality. You're going to hear from all of us. Then I'm going to go over and sign a piece of legislation that was passed by City Council, and then we'll open it up for question and answers for the news media that are here. And I know that everyone knows, of course, Councilman O'Brien, Chair, Committee on the Disabled and Special Needs. I want to thank him for his leadership and advocacy. And I know that everyone knows Dr. Arthur Evans, Commissioner of the Department of Behavioral Health and Intellectual Disability Services. He always gets a big round of applause.
As he should.
That's why I love having him here. So, good afternoon, and thank you all for being here. I am very, very proud to soon sign a bill into law and officially amend the Philadelphia Code to be more inclusive and respectful by replacing the term, a particular term, which I'm not going to use, and going forward, we will use the appropriate term, intellectual disability. Language, like everything else, must change with the times. The time has finally caught up, and I would suggest way overdue, to remove this demeaning term from our language and certainly from any official communication by the City of Philadelphia. The term in question hurts people. It's disparaging. It is used in very hurtful ways by any number of folks, and we have to educate and re-educate our public about some of the things that they say and how they describe certain individuals, and at times, even for some, I would suggest they don't necessarily mean personal harm, but nonetheless the effect is the same. It places an implied limitation on a person's abilities. It causes unnecessary and harmful confusion. By transitioning to the term intellectual disability, the City of Philadelphia is in fact focusing on the possibilities and the opportunities for individuals who may be diagnosed with a particular disability, rather than focusing on what some wrongly think may be limitations. Every person has a right to feel valued and to feel that they can in fact contribute to our society and our community. Individuals with intellectual disabilities are capable of so much, and their strength and courage should actually serve as an inspiration to all of us. The City of Brotherly Love and Sisterly Affection has long prided itself on its welcoming nature and its willingness to embrace everyone. This change to the Philadelphia Code is another way for us to publicly, forcefully demonstrate that we've earned the right to be a city of brotherly love and sisterly affection. To the tireless advocates, so many of you here in this room today and many, many others, to the loving and caring family members, and to the individuals who may in fact have some intellectual disability. Many of you are here with us today. I'm honored to make this change official and to join federal and state entities that use the term intellectual disability as well. And now I'm going to ask Councilman O'Brien, who has championed this issue, and so many others for the disabled and special needs community, to give some remarks as well. Councilman?
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to thank the Mayor for taking this opportunity to do this ceremonial signing, but it's a very substantive issue, and we have to celebrate the importance of this event. It's timely, it's meaningful, and as the Mayor said, it's long overdue. And we need to celebrate this moment. And it's more than just words on a page. As you can't say it enough, words and language are powerful. They have the power to uplift, to enlighten, to inspire, to empower. They build confidence, energy, and growth. But they can also hurt, diminish, discount, and limit. Events like this recognize the need to reshape our attitudes and our assumptions for the ID and the autism communities. It's important who we are and how we are, but it's more important not only to be at events like this and say that we're not going to use this word anymore, but it's more important for all of us to think about reshaping our thinking and how we use our language, not only in forums like this where we're out in the public, but behind the closed doors. There's not a time that if one of my boys, if their friends inadvertently uses that word, I stop the car. And my boys look and their friends look and they say, oh, you're going to get it now. You're going to get the full Monty. I said, here's the deal, guys. If you use the word, you get warned. Next time we just turn the car around and then we leave you off and you can explain why you use the word and you think about it and we're going to come back. But we have to retool our use of language. And we have to change fundamentally the way we think of individuals with intellectual disabilities and autism. We have to change the way we support individuals with intellectual disabilities and autism. As the mayor said, we have to change the way we value individuals with intellectual disabilities and autism. And most importantly, we have to rethink the way we engage with individuals with intellectual disabilities and autism. I look around the room and I think of the Maureen Devaney's and the DiCaccias and the Spins and the Dave and Trina Lucinos and so many people at a tender age of 23 that formed me. And they gave me instructions on no uncertain terms that you're going to be part of this conversation. And it changed my life. It changed me as a person. It changed me certainly as a legislator. But it made me a better dad in so many different ways. And I have to tell you that most recently, I shared a conversation with Mr. Shriver, who is head of the International Special Olympics. And I was so impressed with that conference because they empowered individuals to advocate for self-determination. They advocated for themselves. So in the Special Olympics, not only are the Special Olympics going to respond to individuals with intellectual disabilities, they are going to create their own future. They're going to take management and leadership positions within the organization. So ladies and gentlemen, it's important we learn from this community. We are better because of this community. And I want to thank all of you for being here, being part of my life, and I want to thank the mayor for this wonderful celebration today. We celebrate all of you.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Hi, thank you, thank you. Well, first of all, I want to thank the mayor for doing this. The mayor has always been a champion for people with disabilities, and as long as I've been in my position, he has, whenever we've called on him to support our events, our issues, he's always been there, and so I want to thank you, Mayor, for your consistent support. I also want to thank Councilman Denny O'Brien, who, as everyone in this room knows, has been a champion for people with intellectual disabilities and disabilities in general for many years. He was the face in the legislature. I would say he is the face in city council. He is certainly one of the true champions in this state, probably in this country, for people who have intellectual disabilities. As I, yes, we're both. As I look around this room, one of the things that I'm reminded is that the intellectual disability community is a family, as Councilman O'Brien mentioned in a conversation we had earlier. It is a small family. It is a close-knit family. And I want to just take this opportunity to thank so many people in this room, people who are providers who I see, who work with people every day to make sure that they have the kind of life that they should have, for the advocacy organizations that are in this room who make sure that the issues that we believe are important get the kind of attention that they should get, but most importantly for people who are self-advocates and those who cannot advocate for themselves. Councilman O'Brien said something really important, which is every person in our community and particularly the intellectual disability community, can enrich our lives and does enrich our lives. And so I want to personally thank all of you, particularly from the intellectual disability community, who do that on a daily basis, and for the work that you do. Words are powerful. I think it's ironic that this morning on the elevator, I heard the R word. It wasn't said in a negative way or a disparaging way. It was almost matter-of-factly. But words are powerful. They shape what we think. They shape how we think about people. And one thing that I've learned as a psychologist over the last 20 years is that they can limit what we're able to do and what people are able to do. And so language is something that is really important that we have to think about. And the thing about the legislation and changing our language is that it aligns what we think, what we believe, what we feel with what we say. And that is tremendously important. If you look at the way the department's name is written, it's the Department of Behavioral Health and Intellectual Disability Services. Disability is D-I-S, small d-I-S, and ability begins with a large A. And when I speak outside of Philadelphia, people always send our name back with that so-called corrected. And we have to tell them, no, that is the way we spell it, because we want to emphasize ability, what is possible for people. And again, this language helps us to do that. So I want to thank everyone who's here that has supported this work for many, many years. And let's keep the fight going to make sure that we as a community emphasize what people are capable of and people's abilities. So thank you all for being here.
Buenas tardes. We came today to thank you, Mayor Norton, Councilman O'Brien, and all the other members of City Council for ending the use of the R retarded language in all city laws, ordinances, and documents. Mental retardation is an antiquated medical term that has specific clinical connotation that today is no longer in use. This word, like many others that refer to a person or a group of people in a dehumanizing way, has now ended in Philadelphia in all official documents and laws. This is important to me, a father of a young man, Joel, with disability, and to all our citizens with intellectual disability who live here in our great city. Too frequently, the term retarded or retard in today's society has and is used not to convey a clinical diagnosis, but as a slur meant to offend. We all know the words have powers, and they are often used to denigrate a person or group of people. They have the power to hurt. The R word has been seen by people with intellectual disability as offensive and derogatory. Yet, unfortunately, we all know many in our society still do not recognize the hurtful and dehumanizing effect of the word retard, as they use this term every day. The term instead will now be intellectual disability, and this term has been universally adopted to convey the same diagnosis but lends to more appropriate terminology as related to those with intellectual difference. The use now of language that is respectful and inclusive language is important and is essential to a movement for the dignity and humanity of people with disability. Changing how we refer to people with disability is a critical step in promoting and protecting people with intellectual disability basic civil and human rights. Change is good, and I, as Joel's father and Vision for Equality, are very pleased to know that the Mayor and City Council recognize the importance of change in removing the R word. This is a change that symbolizes transformation, a positive change that shows a commitment to make the world a more accepting place for people. We again would like to thank Mayor Nutter, Councilman O'Brien, Dennis Taylor Patterson from Intellectual Disability Services, and Dr. Evan, Commissioner, and City Council for honoring people with disability to make this important change.
So we're going to move over to the table for a second. I'm going to sign the legislation. I want to ask Tommy McDonald to stop crawling on the floor. But I'm also going to ask Councilman Bill Greenlee to please come and join us over on the side. Please recognize Councilman Bill Greenlee, who's with us. This is Bill number 130723. It's amending Title VI, the Health Code, Title 17, Contracts and Procurement, Title 20, Officers and Employees, all of the Philadelphia Code, by replacing references to mental retardation with references to intellectual disability, all under certain terms and conditions. This is now the law of the City of Philadelphia. Come on over, guys. Thank you. That was very sweet. In terms of the news media, we'd be glad to try to answer any questions that you might have. But please, again, recognize all of these great leaders, Councilman O'Brien, Councilman Greenlee, Dr. Arthur Evans, and Emilio Pacheco. Please recognize them. She was not shy at all. Any questions from the news media? Okay. Thank you all very, very much. Thank you for coming out today. Thank you for this momentous occasion in Philadelphia. Let me just lastly say that do not ever let anyone put you down or categorize you by names or titles. Each and every one of you has God-given potential. Use that potential. Let people know who you are. Keep your heads high, stand tall, and never let anyone limit how far you can go. And certainly your city is with you and behind you. There are those who we will have to help educate or re-educate about what they say and terms that they use. But we will do everything we can to get the word out, and certainly in any discussions, as Councilman O'Brien mentioned, if you hear someone say something that is just inappropriate, it's okay to say that's inappropriate. And I can give you a different term or a different language or a different word to use that is accurate and not as hurtful. No one in this city should ever feel less than what they actually are or what they want to be. That's what we stand for in the city of Philadelphia. God bless you.